Sent to the future from the year 2000 by a glitch due to the Millennium Bug, I'm adapting to thrive in the peculiar conditions of the 2020s. Join me in a multimedia extravaganza as we surf the World Wide Web. Catch up on 2 decades of video games and mess around with creative tools new and old. I'm Millennium Cyborg, welcome to the new millennium. I want you to imagine me like a mad scientist emerging from some workshop where you've been hearing banging noises and seeing occasional puffs of smoke emerge for the past several days, weeks, months. Because that's how I felt. Wow. So I was delayed and then decided to cancel on Monday because I was busy blowing up my GPU. Not literally, figuratively, but I've been working for quite some time on the idea that I would like to be able to render in real time what the animations that took me a very long time to render in Bryce when I first started working on these Bryce animations. I really like the look of the animations, of the Bryce renders, but when I was rendering just a very short 400 and something frames of animation in 1080p 60 for my intro screen back last year in I don't remember, actually I can check when my encoding was done, and that'll give me an idea. That was even longer ago than I remembered. It was July last year. I spent 3 entire days of a weekend doing nothing but rendering. And at that point, the idea came to me that, you know, this program was using about half of my CPU. It wasn't able to very effectively parallelize on a modern machine. And it was using none of my GPU for doing ray tracing effectively. So it was making very poor use of my hardware. And I felt like this is really something that is very painful to work on, and I would love to be able to do it in real time. And although it is the most trivial example, I think I've gotten very close. And if you look behind me, what you have is a fully real-time scene I can edit parameters, I can move the camera view, and this is running at 60 frames per second and just about cooperating with OBS and the face tracking and everything else that's going on. And this feels really momentous for me. I need a button to reset the camera to the correct position for the scene. It was somewhere around here, I think. So let's compare it to the original. So I'm going to pop into studio mode. This is the scene as pre-rendered in Bryce. Over, I mean, the animation took a good 72 hours and was using, you know, making my machine still usable, but really, well, doing its best to max it out. The fans were certainly running on full. And here's the real-time version of the scene that I've made. So on the water and sky, I've gotten very close. The glass material is a little less complex than the one in the Bryce scene originally. And I've got a good handle on exactly what it is that's missing, and I will add those. But it's really at the point where it feels like I've done it. I've got optimizations in mind. I've got features to implement still, but I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with myself here. So to explain exactly what this consists of, this is a Unity project with a custom rendering pipeline using the Unity scriptable rendering pipeline framework, and it's calling DirectX ray tracing shaders. Unity is handling, and this is crucial, Unity is handling building the ray tracing acceleration structure for us, which it would have been a huge pain to do that by hand. So there's some things that, you know, Unity, I'm not that experienced in it yet, but it's really saving me worrying about a lot of things. Similarly, using C# instead of C++ has been a real pleasure, because there are so many things I just don't need to think about that I would need to think about in C++. So when doing this sort of prototyping work, it's been really nice to work with. So inside the Unity scene, the meshes are created with custom shaders that work with the ray tracing pipeline. And so what I've authored is a ray generation shader that says, okay, well, for a given pixel, where do we send the ray? And that does not do anything, you know, very fancy. But much more interesting are the, oh, you know what? I should bring up an image of this since I'm talking about it. Let's find something good on DirectX ray tracing. Let's just find an ray tracing mesh. Yeah, this one's good. I have so many windows open right now. Where are we looking at? I'm just going to capture Chrome here. Okay, well, I don't know why the layout's doing that, but shall I move myself? I'm just gonna kind of move out of the way. So the way the ray tracing works is, and this applies to, you know, I'm not sure where, I don't know how this was arrived at, but I think that the Vulkan ray tracing and so on work quite similarly. So this is an example from NVIDIA for DirectX 12. You have a ray generation shader that just produces all of the primary rays from the camera. They're going to be shot into the scene. You've got intersection, well, let's skip those. Let's suppose you just have some opaque objects in the scene. You have an acceleration structure, which is just a bounding volume hierarchy. It has two levels. One is the top level acceleration structure, and one is the bottom level acceleration structure. The bottom level acceleration structure is just a way to it's some kind of structure that accelerates ray tracing one mesh, and then you're able to update transform the position of that bottom level structure that contains the mesh without recalculating the contents. So that's good for any objects that might move around but not and not deform, for instance, not be skinned, not have blend weights. Every mesh ends up in a bottom level acceleration structure, and then those are combined into a top level acceleration structure, which is some kind of octree or other bounding volume hierarchy, right? Unspecified, not important. DirectX gives you some ability to provide hints and to choose when you update and how, but not into the very fine details of the acceleration structure. So when you generate a ray, it's cast into the tree, and supposing you just have simple opaque object, it's going to either miss and not hit anything, in which case it executes the miss shader, or it'll execute closest hit after it's traced the ray through the scene and found which object, which polygon of which mesh it hits first along the ray's path. And so inside the closest hit shader, you get to execute some more or less conventional shader code. I just realized I wasn't going to do this deep dive until a later stream, but here we are. I'll probably do it again with code to show at some point. So in order to create this scene, and the any hit and intersection shaders are there for things like procedural geometry and various kinds of volumetric shading and things like that. I'm not 100% clear on those yet because I've not written any yet. So the mist shader, let's look away from anything at all. Here, all that we see here is the mist shader. And inside this mist shader, I've recreated some of the features of a Bryce rendering. We've got a sky. The sky just mainly consists of some clouds, right? We've got a procedural texture based on fractal Brownian motion, an FBM function, and that's been scaled and thresholded, to produce the kind of clouds that were in the original Bryce scene. And I've added an amount of scrolling to the scene, to the texture coordinates, in order to provide the effect of wind. In addition, I did a bit of nonsense to make it like a bit of a sky dome rather than an infinite sky plane, because that more closely matches the setup of the original Bryce scene. So I just raycast against a very large sphere instead of an infinite sky plane. Next, we've got the water. The water is an infinite plane that I can't create I didn't try, to be honest. But I don't think the acceleration structure would be particularly happy with, you know, an infinite quad inside it somehow. So what this is an extra test in the mist shader. It just occurred to me that I might need an additional... This won't handle cases where objects are partially in the water. Maybe. Something to think about. At the moment, the ocean is handled entirely in the mist shader, so if nothing else is hit and the ray is going below the horizon, we have what is essentially a perfectly reflective surface with a disturbance to its normal. And I read this straight out of a chapter in a book written by the person who, one of the people responsible for the algorithms in the original versions of Bryce. So all this is doing is, I don't know how close we can get to the water. Yeah, that's not bad. We're using the same fractal Brownian motion based procedural texture to generate a displacement value for the surface. And then we're using a finite difference method to figure out how this affects the normal. So we're saying we're displacing it's effectively like bump mapping but done procedurally. We're calculating not just the local height at the displaced point, but also a small increment in the two orthogonal directions to see how the slope is affected. And then we're using that to create a new normal. So we get a wavy looking surface. The next element, although this is essentially the first thing I implemented, is the exponential haze. This has been kind of puzzling me for a very long time as I've been figuring out how it works in Bryce. Because it doesn't seem to be exactly the straightforward implementation of the exponential haze equation that you see everywhere if you look for how to implement that. But what we're modeling is more or less, I've not successfully reproduced exactly what Bryce does, but this, in scenes like this, it looks pretty good. It's only more obviously different when it comes to a very strong haze and the haze actually being on objects rather than the sky. So this is just saying we've got in the air we've got some amount of haze, and as altitude goes up, the haze thins out exponentially. What you do is, every time you cast a ray into the scene, you look at the path of the object, and it's a nice property of exponential haze that you can have an analytic solution to how much total density it traversed, what's called the optical depth, just based on the angle of the ray and its height in the scene. So you get a nice closed form solution for that, quite straightforward. So the important thing there is that we don't have to do any volume matching, which is much more expensive. So we don't have to take infinitesimal steps along the ray to calculate the contribution along the way. And then finally, the closest hit shader. Right now it's a mess because it's a bit of an uber shader and it's not handling the procedural texture effect I've created here in a very smart way yet. But this is implementing diffuse and specular lighting in the surface shader the way that Bryce does, effectively, the way old CG rendering is done. And which is a very unrealistic, non-physical approximation. But that's the look I'm looking for. And it's implementing reflection and refraction. And right now, the number of... I need to cull more sensibly the child rays, the secondary, tertiary rays that I fire into the scene, because I think every single time I increase the ray depth by 1, I've got 3 times as many rays spawning. Well, at least twice as many rays. Because every time you hit a reflective surface, a glass surface, there's one shadow ray that's shot out for the specular highlighting, which you can see here. Well, you can see a shadow here that one of the crystals is leaving on the other. One ray is shot out for the reflection, the pure reflection of, say, the sky, and one is shot out for the refraction into the material. And then those rays can further spawn more rays, but most of them aren't actually contributing very much to the final image, and so that's something I hope I can optimize and send far fewer rays into the scene. That said, the glass type materials are very expensive, and so this is a bit of a torture test. But if all I want to do is render a bunch of very reflective spheres and diffuse materials and so on, that's pretty efficient actually. That runs at a nice frame rate, and I've seen a few times quotes from game developers working on modern game engines, and they're essentially saying we can't afford, even one ray per pixel on average. And of course that's in the context of a modern engine where they're doing a lot of things in a frame, whereas I'm doing all of my rendering for this scene. And all it needs to do is be a bit fast. It needs to not be so long that it interferes with other applications' ability to use the GPU. I think at the moment I have about 3 or 6 milliseconds per frame of actual ray tracing time. And I'm getting, on some of these pixels here, I'm getting dozens of rays per pixel. So I'm amazed it's working. Anyway, that was a diversion from what we're going to do today, but I just had to talk about this because I was so happy that I got this far so far. And I want to recreate my other scene. So let's see. I'm gonna shut this down so that it doesn't cause issues during gameplay. Those are shut off, but this scene here in the background, actually I've got that animated as well. No, oh, this is something different. That's a shader that I got from Shader Toy. Here we are. So this is another animated scene. This was the first one I created, and doesn't have any glass. Actually, I'm not sure. Does the... I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the terrain has some amount of translucency. But for the most part, it's reflective surfaces. And all I need in order to be able to recreate this scene at interactive rates is to handle the terrain. Now the terrains in Bryce are actually, they're not infinite procedural terrains, they're very limited in size, and each of them is a grayscale texture that's generated by a procedural algorithm, and then in the actual ray tracing, I think it's just doing some kind of interpolation of the height values. So there's two ways I could handle this. One is to re-bake a mesh at a high resolution, and that's kind of the boring way to do it because I don't have to write any new code. But the other, more interesting way would be to write an intersection shader that we would create a box that gets the intersection shader material on it, and when a ray enters the box, we would say, okay, here is the value of the height field. Where would the ray hit within this box, if anywhere, or does it go right through? So that would be a reason for me to write an intersection shader, and that would be a major Bryce feature to have implemented. The reason why one would want to write it as an intersection shader rather than as a rather than using a pre-baked mesh is that would give you infinitely smooth interpolation in theory. So you could scale it to various sizes and not end up seeing sharp edges of polygons. And then I've got a few other scenes, and I've not thought about these actually. So this one, yeah, this one's got an interesting procedural material, but it's really just some water, some sky, some glassy sort of objects. So we could definitely do this as well. And this one, it's got a few extra little bits of lighting to it, but I think it's also very doable. Nox, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. I've been rambling on for half an hour about my ray tracing stuff instead of actually properly showing the game that I'm going to be playing. So yeah, I think it's time to actually get back to the Journeyman project. Which I did actually set up before the stream, thankfully. And hopefully everything will work smoothly. Things immediately do not work smoothly. Let's see. Right, we've scaled the game. We are switching to the game screen. And we just need... Oh, that's loud. That's very loud. Maybe that's a bit better. What am I doing? Capture.
The year is 2318. The location, the skyborn metropolis of
There we are.
Gloria. Finally, the terrible memories of Earth's world wars have started to fade. After discovering the strength of unification,
It's not futuristic racing Friday.
restored their once ravaged planet.
There we go.
Accomplishments have become threatened by man's most incredible discovery: time travel.
Time travel.
Frightened by its potential for
I'm starting to think time travel might be a bad idea.
the time machine, codenamed Pegasus, and moved it to a secret location. Realizing that the integrity of the time continuum would now have to be forever guarded.
Yeah, where the time cops. Oh, and I was in studio mode. There we go. Where the time cops, something has gone wrong. And no. Okay, I can't see my mouse cursor. That seems
Journeyman
bad. Okay, there it is. So, last time we travelled back to the time of the dinosaurs to pick up a DVD that contained a record of history. Because we detected that a temporal rip was arriving to the present day. When we returned to the present day, as we expected, history had been altered by the temporal change, but we were able to compare the disc that we got from the past to the current events disc and discover the three periods in time when things had been altered. So, I don't remember in exactly which order. I think it doesn't make too much difference. Oh, but we don't. That one, I think we need an item or something. So we've got the Morimoto Mars colony, where the first sighting of an alien spacecraft happened, and the sabotage there was that first of all, a missile was shot at the alien spacecraft, and secondly, it was made to look like the colony had been attacked or exploded. The NORAD site. Oh, this was a nuclear missile launch that disrupted a World Peace Conference. And this was the assassination of a prominent advocate for getting along with the aliens who we'd recently discovered. Yeah, the way this game looks is huge in my mind. Like I want to take more elements of how this looks into my streams, into my website. I don't know how exactly, but I want to draw more influence from these. And the sound design is pretty cool as well. I think we want to start with the beginning.
You are about to travel to the underwater military installation NORAD 6. In the altered history, an unauthorized missile launch leading to a nuclear explosion over the world unification talks ends the peace conference in Gorbistan, creating a resurgence of the nuclear proliferation of the 20th century. Your mission is to restore the proper flow of history by stopping the missile launch from occurring.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am deep in the... Oh!
You are no match for me, human. But I love a challenge.
Warning. Detecting trace concentrations of a sleeping gas in the atmosphere.
Okay, let's pause quickly. I've been very deep into the old CG rabbit hole, if that's the right word. I've been buying old art books, finding rips of old DVDs and things. I'm really trying to figure out exactly what it is that makes the look of some of these old games, because I don't know, I just find it really charming, and also some old animated TV series. Reboot is an obvious one to look at, and so on. And modern tools are not actually well suited to recreate those looks, because what you get by default is physically based rendering, and as an alternative, maybe various forms of toon shading, but not old and bad, but actually kind of snazzy styles of non physically based rendering. So the robot we just saw, one of the rules of the time travel here is that if we encounter any other humans, we will alter time and game over. But as it happens, robots are fine for whatever reason. And the robots that we're going to encounter are sent back in time by the main antagonist, who it's fairly obviously telegraphed is in fact the same person who invented time travel in the first place, Elliot Sinclair. I should save, because we have limited oxygen. Let's see if we can make progress here.
Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied.
Access denied.
All personnel, contamination detected in no area of ventilation system.
Can we look at this dude on the floor? Maybe not. Okay, we died. Good thing I was... Well, what happens if we continue? Okay, we're okay. Des, good to see you. Greetings and salutations to you too. Okay, it's based on time, so... It's a bit confusing what's actually... Okay, that's telling us that there's a person in there. Yeah, there's sleeping gas.
Between this chamber and submarine dock.
Okay, that's a submarine dock. So we're trying to find oxygen, I guess, first of all.
Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied.
The way that this puzzle works is not quite the same as in the very original game, so...
Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied.
If I can't figure this out, I'll jump to a different time. Anything here? Is that good or... Unknown gas contaminant. Okay. Can we just remove it?
It may be advisable to leave the gas canister in its current position.
Oh, is this going to be one of these? I get it. If we remove the gas canister, Oh, well, I'll just show you what happens. Because I've just remembered that. And what's the other thing here? Environmental control room. Yeah. Okay. Let me show you what happens if we remove it.
Get your hands in the air!
Can't miss out on a little bit of excellent FMV acting like that. So yeah, by removing the sleeping canister, we've awakened the personnel of the base, who then arrest us, and also we ruin history. So, okay, we're going to need a way to breathe. I'll reload. And jump back. Oh, we can't, like, yeah, we can't kill anyone in the past. That would be a big no-no. Let's go to the Mars base, Morimoto colony.
You are about to travel to the Morimoto Mars colony during the year 2185. Analysis of the compared history records indicates that there are two events that did not occur in the correct history. The Morimoto colony should not have been destroyed, and the alien ship orbiting Mars should have been able to leave undamaged. You must ensure that these events unfold properly in order to restore the correct order of events.
Well, it's good that in the remake they added those explanations so that you remember what the hell you're doing. Oh, and
One has just departed from the East Gantry.
another thing that I miss from old CGI is the extremely idiosyncratic style of the lens flares. Right, we're in the shuttle bay
Bienvenue à la colonie Morimoto
dock.
sur Mars. Nous vous souhaitons une visite formidable.
Shuttle lock active. Launch not authorized.
So
Bienvenidos a la colonia
it's not
Morimoto.
obvious, but what we saw when we arrived was another one of these evil robots
Shuttle lock active. Launch not authorized.
taking off.
Welcome to the Morimoto Mars colony. Have a wonderful stay.
On the way to cause trouble for the alien spaceship,
Shuttle lock active. Launch not authorized.
I think. Oh, maybe not. Because he is a robot.
Tunnel pod has just departed.
I'm surprised that those robots don't kill us immediately, given that they're here to, you know, kill lots of people and alter history. I'm going to show another game over here, so... Yeah, the way the robot walks is...
Required to check in at reception area. Please refer to gantry kiosks for maps and information on the Morimoto Mars colony.
Instinctive.
What are you supposed to be? Get him.
You get him.
You get him.
No,
You get him.
Well, if only we'd paid more attention to the warnings. All right. Let's see what else. I want to actually, does the other door even open on the other side? So we've got maintenance transport. And the ore processing machine room. I think we do want to grab something in this room though.
All arriving tourists are required to check in at reception area. Please refer to gantry kiosks for maps and information on the Morimoto Mars colony.
No way to skip the audio messages, I guess. Somehow these two guys are behind both of the doors.
A thermal scan has detected colony personnel in close proximity. TSA Protocol 3 forbids any contact with humans during a temporal restoration mission.
What have we got? Some kind of security card. Access card. Okay. I don't know if we have to return it to its original location eventually, but... it'll undoubtedly get us into an important door somewhere. So we can't go into the colony itself, but we can go into the sort of mining and maintenance tunnels. And I think that might be where we get the oxygen mask that we need. I'm just gonna...
Tunnel pod has just
Yeah.
arrived in upper transport sector.
I'm just gonna have a quick look at the other side. To remind myself. I think when we get inside that shuttle, we have some kind of quick time event sequence. Airlock, eh? Well, presumably we need to be able to breathe on the other side of the airlock. I wish that pressing forward didn't skip the important life or death messages from the computer lady. Okay, I think we need to go this way. I'm gonna take a quick screenshot. Okay, yeah. I don't know if that's even going to be helpful, but we're at the colony level. And we have to not take the branches that end up crashing the little train thing.
Please insert security access card now.
So I do vaguely remember this game.
Caution. Portions of the maintenance transport tunnel are closed for repairs. Confirm accessible destination and clear path prior to departure.
There was a little message that said use keypad to steer. Am I going to have to pull out my other keyboard? Okay, I think I steered. Well, that was obviously wrong, but are we doomed? Or are we fine? Seems forgiving, at least so far. I've not referred to the actual map. I'm just mashing a button at the last second. I think this is where we wanted to be. No worries, Hosea. Good to see you. There's always the VODs. I appreciate everyone who turns up.
Agent 5. A strong temporal flux has been detected. Extreme caution advised.
I don't know what that means. Temporal flux.
Warning. There is a serious lack of oxygen beyond this door.
Yeah, airlocks. We know airlocks. All right, here we go.
This oxygen mask is empty.
This air station is currently empty.
This guy is not our friend.
Tunnel pod has just departed lower transport sector.
Yep, we're on Mars, and we're trying to stop the sabotage of both this colony and an alien spaceship that makes its first encounter. I'm going to be saving annoyingly often because of all the unskippable.
Detecting high concentrations of radioactive particles. Attempting to compensate. Success? Limited. Recommend using additional method of shielding or using extreme haste when interacting with this environment.
All right.
Shield generator diagnostic repair platform 4.
I think we don't have what we need to do much here, but I guess the robot that came out of here must have interfered with the colony's shield.
Access panel cover must be unlocked before diagnostics can be initiated.
Are we missing a tool? We need a panel unlocker of some kind?
Access panel cover must be unlocked before diagnostics can be initiated.
An octagon wrench. Yeah, we're gonna have to see. Maybe we'll find one in another time period. Or maybe one will have been left behind somewhere else. Is there anything behind us? At any point, I wonder. This is where we came from. I guess we haven't checked extending the platform right here. Okay, so there was only one where there seemed to be an issue. Nope, wrong button. I'm just going to reload. We didn't do anything particularly interesting there. Nope, wrong one. All right. So now we have a breathing mask that's empty. Imagine all of the energy we're wasting just so we can get basic items. If we had a suit that just had built-in air and radiation shielding, this game would be easy.
You are no match for me, human. But I love a challenge.
The intro cutscene to the areas,
Warning.
yeah, replays every time. Alright, let's see if we can refill it here. I'm trying to find the right keyboard shortcut for the inventory. I will... 7, you say? Is this the point where I had to pull out a keyboard last time? A different keyboard? Let me see. I thought this was just for the other game, but... Nope, you're right. Well remembered. This other keyboard is massive compared to my usual one. Need to move my mouse. And then that it's not the most usable UI. There we go. Please choose gas. Oxygen, please. I feel like this is like, in real life, this would be the worst the worst UX possible. Now that we have this, there's several different places we can go, right? Because we had 2 different airlocks. And there's no sleeping gas here. Let's see how far we can get here. First of all, oh, I need to put the sleeping gas back as well. Oh, please skip this. Yeah. Okay. So we've put the sleeping gas back so that the personnel doesn't wake up and spot us. And now... What?
Get your hands in the air!
I think I forgot to press the intake mode button, probably. Okay, there we go. Okay, and now we're breathing through this gas mask. We probably get another cutscene this way, right?
Defense command post on security alert. Access denied.
Access denied.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts.
So all of the other doors were closed except this one.
Warning. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Unequal pressure between this chamber and submarine dock. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation. Unequal pressure between this chamber and submarine dock. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD unequal pressure between this chamber and submarine dock. Equalize pressure before entering. Warning. Avoid maximum pressure as some objects may implode. Ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
What happens if we do make objects implode?
Warning.
Hello? Trying to...
All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Damaged electronics can occur.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Okay.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Yeah, I've got to hold it down.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts. Warning. All personnel. Contamination. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning.
Oh, interesting. The oxygen mask is filtering, but it says that the O2 is inactive, so we don't actually need oxygen, we just need...
Detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Hello? Right. Grego. No, it's a bit flan or something. Fleep, hoser. Not open their lockers. What are we doing here again? The robot is somewhere around here. And it's trying to launch a missile. Rego, Flano, Fleep, and Hoser. Well, those ones say small arms and tools, so maybe they weren't people. Maybe those are the important future tools. The Grego, the Flano. If we could just use those huge arms, that would be very convenient.
Defense Subleader, this is Def Sub 62. I've just completed a visual run of the oxygen data lines between Gamma and Beta sectors. No signs of cracks or pressure stresses. I am now proceeding to Gamma Sector 1 to conduct radioactivity tests on those leaky oil drums I reported this morning.
Negative, Def Sub. NORAD 6 is under full-scale red alert. Hold your position till we can figure out what's happened down there. Over.
Roger that, Sub-Control.
Okay.
Defense Command post on security. Access denied. NORAD air ducts and ventilation system.
And we interact with anything.
NORAD Alpha, Sub-Bay 3. Warning, all personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system. Launch prep. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD diagnostics. Okay. Fueling. Complete. Sonar chaff. Full. Torpedoes. Warning. None. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system. Warning. All personnel. Loading claw operation. Move claw to location, then choose action. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system. Warning. All personnel.
How do we get it? Oh, there's an app. Well, we do actually need to grab the robot at some point, but it's not here right now. So I wonder. Did it grab something? No. Maybe it was in our way. Maybe we needed to leave it resting in the water. What? Or it just moves back to the default position. I like the general look of all of the mechanisms and things.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system.
So I mean all of the other... How do we get into the sub? Can we get it to it from here?
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation. Attack submarine. Access platform A4. Alpha sector. Warning. Lower attack sub. Prep sub for launch. Commence boarding. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system.
Well, I guess we're boarding. Yeah, it looks like there's torpedoes, but when I was trying to press the buttons to make it grab things in that location, it didn't do anything. Ooh.
Negative, Def Sub 2. We've lost communication with all sectors, and there's been an unauthorized launch from Sub Bay Alpha. Intercept bogey immediately. You're authorized to attack with lethal force. We're en route to NORAD, but we're 20 clicks southwest, so you'll have no direct backup. The auto-defense systems in Beta and Gamma sectors are online and will support you with torpedo fire. Alpha and Delta sectors are offline, and you'll have no additional backup there. Over?
Use keypad to steer. Alright, I guess this is another FMV QuickTime sequence.
Alert.
How am I supposed to know which ones are the Alpha and Gamma Beta sectors? There was a line.
Incoming torpedo. Warning. Impact damage.
Okay, we took damage.
Alert.
Attention operator in Depth Sub 4. You are ordered to stop your vessel and turn off your autopilot systems immediately.
Yeah, that whale should have not bumped into us. Steer. Well, I don't know. Was that where we were meant to go?
Getting no response. Proceeding with elimination.
Maybe we're following this cable.
Alert. Incoming torpedo.
Okay, it missed us, so we must have chosen
Alert. Incoming torpedo.
correctly.
Warning. Impact damage.
I don't know. I have no idea if I'm doing things right or not. It only tells us to steer once in a while.
Alert. Alert. Incoming torpedo.
I'm just going to follow the yellow line on the map for now.
Warning. Impact damage. Alert. Alert. Incoming torpedo. Warning. Impact damage.
It's extremely 90s.
Warning. Impact damage.
How am I supposed to know how to steer here?
Hull breach imminent.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find a guide for this because otherwise I'm gonna be clicking randomly. Let's see. Pegasus Prime. Submarine sequence. The correct answer is left to all but one of the decision points. The one exception being the one following 2 torpedoes and a shipwreck. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I guess they have to once in a while go back and
Warning. All personnel. Contamination.
update that disk.
Attack submarine. Access platform A4. Alpha sector. Warning. Lower attack sub. Prep sub for launch. Commence boarding. Warning. All personnel.
It's go left except for the what was it? After the point with 2. The one following 2 torpedoes and a shipwreck. What were the game designers thinking exactly? I don't know. Like what clue could there be?
Negative, Depth Sub 2. We've lost communication.
Okay, we can skip the radio messages. This is the remake, right? The original also has left? Yes, good. The original also has some FMV sequences, although they're a bit different. Yeah, I don't think this one existed in the original.
Alert. Incoming torpedo. Alert.
Attention operator in depth sub 4. You are ordered to stop your vessel and turn off your autopilot system immediately.
Alert.
And sub control, getting no response. Proceeding with elimination of bogey.
Alert. Incoming torpedo.
I think this is the bit with 2 torpedoes.
Alert. Incoming
Yeah.
torpedo.
So the next decision point we have to go right.
Impact damage. Alert. Alert. Incoming torpedo.
And I could just mindlessly mash left.
Warning. Impact damage.
I feel like this was also a high point for, you know, underwater cities and bases and things. Shows
Alert.
set in that kind of setting. You had what, Sea Lab, you had the
Warning. Impact damage. Alert.
TV show with a dolphin that I don't remember the name of.
Warning. Impact damage.
Sequest, yes.
Warning. Hull breach imminent.
Dolphin's name was Darwin. I think I might have seen that in French. I don't remember what the dolphin's name was in the French version.
Auto dock sequence initiated.
Darwin. We're out. We're out of FMV land. We're out of full screen FMV land.
Ventilation system. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system.
Make sure to save.
Warning.
I think I know why I was confused. This is going to look exactly the same as the last location. Yeah.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination
Hey, Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Bookster.
Warning. All personnel.
Was that T-Bear? I'm going up here first because I don't remember if I need to or not.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination
The bear.
NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning.
Why am I holding a beverage glass? Oh, I remember. Yeah, we did pick that up right at the beginning of the game.
Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning.
You can listen through walls with it. That's a useful thing to be able to do.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Alpha Station 1. Access credentials. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Override.
Okay, well that's the evil robot messing around with
Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and
missile launch.
Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied. All personnel.
What else can we do here?
In NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied. Defense Command.
Well, wow.
Access denied. In NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
I didn't even notice that guy was on the floor there.
All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts.
I assume we can't do anything good
All personnel.
to this robot.
In NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
All we can do is look into the window.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel.
I don't know whether it's intended for us to load torpedoes onto our sub. The main thing we need to do is stop that robot.
Ventilation system. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation system.
Otherwise we can go back to Mars and use the oxygen mask to
Contamination detected in NORAD.
explore further.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation.
Interesting. Okay, that door opens.
Warning.
Steel torpedoes. Just put them in my inventory.
NORAD Delta, Sub-Bay 3. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Launch prep. Detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Def Sub-4. Damaged. Repairs required. Personnel. Launch cancelled. Detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Loading claw operation. Move claw to location, then choose action. Detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel.
Yeah, it's not really grabbing anything. I think we just need it to fight the robot at some point.
Detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Let's see what happens if we go this way.
All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
I'll tell you what, they saved a lot of time modeling all these corridors.
Command post on security alert. Access denied.
I only had to model this corridor once and get to use it 3 times or more.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected.
You are standing before a damaged but secured door which leads to the Nuclear Launch Authorization Center for NORAD.
Personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and
Okay.
systems.
This might actually be the right thing to do. Let me just check out the other doors.
Contamination detected in NORAD post on security alert. Access denied. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation. Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD Defense Command post on security alert. Access denied. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD. Please hold for 10 seconds for Alpha Sector Retinal ID scan. Security alert. Security alert. Unauthorized access attempted at retinal scan.
Neat.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Huh.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have to come back here later.
Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems. Warning. All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Yeah, I don't know what the point is of the mapping chip, to be honest.
All personnel. Contamination detected in NORAD air ducts and ventilation systems.
Let's head back to Mars. We've explored at least. We've oh no, I wonder if that means we're gonna have to redo the FMV section. But I prefer to not just do a walkthrough and to puzzle a few things out anyway, even if it's a little slower. I remember that the conference thing is a later puzzle, I think, and that there's more to do at the Mars colony. The time jump was certainly funkier in the original game than in the remake.
Shuttle 1 has just departed from the East Gantry.
Alright, so there were two different places where there was an airlock.
Bienvenidos a la colonia marciana Morimoto. Disfruten su visita.
Welcome to the Morimoto.
We're gonna get grabbed by the robot again.
Stay.
Don't think too much about how this stuff happens every time we arrive in this area of time, in this time zone, whatever. But we still have in our inventory the access card that we picked up
Has just departed upper transport sector.
minutes after this. The time travel
Warning, there is a serious lack of oxygen being
doesn't really hold up to examination,
may be advisable.
intellectual examination. All right. We've got oxygen. I'll just save any time, even though nope, that wasn't it. Even though it might well let us restore. I prefer to make hard saves as well.
Warning, life support systems not active beyond this point.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, wow, this looks safe. Are we getting in? Well, as I expected, we shouldn't have gone in there. Oh, this is funny. The way we look is inconsistent across different death messages and across and with the FMV sections. So here we clearly look like the dude from the original non-remake.
Warning. There is
Okay. Let's try the other airlock. Which was...
Tourists are required to check in at reception area. Please refer to gantry kiosks
No.
for information on the Morimoto Mars colony.
It was this way. Well, I'm guessing we want to... No, I don't even know. Do we want to power down the grinders but still leave the buckets going? I don't actually remember. Do you think the game will say, oh, you did this section already, do you want to skip it? I'm betting it will not.
Security access card now. Caution. Portions of the maintenance transport tunnel are closed for repairs. Confirm accessible destination and clear path prior to departure.
Alright, I've got the reference on my phone now. Which I should have pulled up a few seconds earlier.
warning. There is a serious lack of oxygen.
Oh, interesting. This time I thought, oh well, it'll let us, it'll restore us just at the start, but no, it did not. So we need to go. I'll do a save this time. We're going to go left, left, right, 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 left, left, left.
Please insert security access card now.
Left, left, right, 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 and then all left.
Caution. Portions of the maintenance transport tunnel are closed for repairs. Confirm accessible destination and clear path prior to departure.
Some of the bad paths are more obvious than others. Alright, and now just hang left. You know, those sequences are actually going to work out to be the most annoying thing in the game, probably, because of having to redo them. Like at this point, I have to hope that I have all the items I need. Otherwise, I will have to do it at least once more. Alright, so... if I turn around, the scary robot is going to come. If I go this way before the robot does, I don't know if it makes any difference, to be honest. I think this might be where we use the mapping chip, if I remember from the non-remake. You drone, obstacle, no floor. Great, it's a maze. Excuse me? Excuse me? But
Agent 5. A strong temporal
maybe, okay, maybe I have to turn this way and see this robot come out of the reactor?
Tunnel pod has just departed lower transport sector.
I quite enjoy using sound alerts on other people's channels, and I didn't have any ideas for ones for my channel, but now I'm feeling like this game could provide
There is a serious lack of oxygen beyond the
could provide some fun ones. Alright, let's see if I die this time. Yeah, out of my way, human. Although, don't ask me when you would use that particular sound alert. Maybe some of the other ones. Okay. Nope. Huh. Do we need to, is it the reactor exploding? Do we need to, I mean, we weren't able to, I don't think we'd have to just check the reactor. Alright, tell you what, let's jump into the last time zone. Time period, time whatever. Maybe we'll walk in and immediately find a Mars colony nuclear reactor screwdriver.
You are about to travel to the World Science Centre in New Sydney, Australia, in the year 2310. In the corrupted history, an influential scientist, Dr. Enrique Castillo, is assassinated during his speech at the Symposium on Alien Contact. Without his impassioned arguments for the benefits of sharing culture with other races, the sentiment of the scientific community toward alien contacts swings to an isolationist attitude, drastically altering history.
Either way, I'm not gonna drag on the stream for too much longer. So if this doesn't present an obvious way forward, I will look up what the actual next step we need to do in the game is. Okay, so we got shot with something and the robot transformed into a dude.
Agent 5, you have just been shot with a dart coated with an unknown toxin. Your vital signs are beginning to fluctuate. Your biosuit was able to filter out all but 7 micrograms of the toxin. The substance is a lethal neurotoxin and must be neutralized quickly, or you will perish.
Deadly neurotoxin. Okay, that sounds promising. I'm sure. Yeah, we can just walk it off. I'm not sure. Okay, compound analyzer. How handy.
Base compound to be analysed into the analysis chamber.
We're in Australia.
Compound analyzer SL100A.
So the computer has an Australian voice. Sinclair Laboratories.
Polarity. Checking for nuclear emissions. Evaluating molecular structure. Scanning polypeptide chains. Chemical. Complex dimethylhydronate-based liquid tranquilizer. Sending analysis information to molecular compositor.
Is this the molecular compositor?
Dr. Sinclair, your messages have been forwarded to your office.
Nope, this is the email terminal. Or something.
Transferring argon from canister to reservoir. Ready to discharge argon into smart ally chamber. Start.
Okay, so there's this thing called smart alloy, and we're seeing the argon is making it transform between two states. Well, we're doing some good science here. I'm sure.
It is now safe to retrieve your keycard and disengage the argon canister.
A keycard. Wow, that is a cool keycard. Security level 8 keycard with built-in photo identification, registered to Dr. Elliot Sinclair, inventor of time travel, and also a biologist for some reason. And good at robots. He can do everything. It's very futuristic. Imagine this is just someone's office. Imagine this being your office.
Sinclair Laboratories Molecular Synthesizer Interface SL100C-1. Now completing download of molecular information from compound analyzer. Dimethylhydronate is a relaxant commonly found in sleep and health aids. In combination with other drugs, its effects can be fatal. It is used as a base for many different forms of tranquilizers. There are antidotes known for several dimethylhydronate-based tranquilizers, all of which are members of the thorazine family. 3 thorazine base molecules have been pre-programmed. These molecules are stable. Variations must be selected manually. In the event that an unstable compound is being created, you will have to begin again.
What is this?
Have been designed, an antidote can be synthesized. Base molecule number 1.
My save. I don't remember if I've done this before or not, but it looks confusing. What? Cannot create. Hang on. I think I typed in a legal character by mistake. Okay. Add compound components to the main structure.
Base molecule number 1. Base molecule number 1. Base molecule number 1.
Is this puzzle?
Base molecule number 1.
Yeah, basically just
Molecule number 1.
brute forcing this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Base molecule number 2.
Okay.
Base molecule number
Energy
2.
level 50%.
Is our energy level like our time travel thing, or is it our health, or OJI delta? Was it delta? Yeah. And then CY. OJI delta CY.
Base molecule number 3. Three stable thorazine base molecules of
Wow, we're doing science.
base molecules. Bonding additional molecules. Synthesis complete. The synthesized compound will appear in the molecular synthesizer.
Cool. Oh, okay, I'm just drinking it. Good. Glad we don't have to ask, like, oh, am I injecting this, or... Our energy is still draining. But I guess we won't pass out, maybe. And maybe if we jump back into this time period, we can just directly drink the antidote again. Ugh, what are these doors? Don't like that. I don't like the gloopy sound they make. Alright, this is like a science center in the middle of a conference. Undoubtedly, we're going to bump into someone and game over, but...
All conference attendees must check in at the main reception in the auditorium complex.
Biorhythms of life forms detected nearby. Extreme caution advised.
Okay, not that way. Okay, so I guess from here we're trying to find Sinclair's actual office, maybe? Or we're trying to find a specific lab?
This laboratory is open to authorized personnel only.
I don't know if hiding behind the ferns will work.
Hernandez is currently at the conference. Keycard is required for entry.
Okay.
This laboratory is open
Yeah.
to authorized personnel only. Dr. Washington is currently at the conference.
The next one is probably Sinclair. What a maze.
Dr. Sullivan is currently at the
No,
conference.
okay.
Keycard is required for entry. Dr. Elliot Sinclair is currently at the conference. Keycard is required for entry.
Well, who came up with these designs? Alright, so Dr. Enrique Castile is the one who's going to get assassinated. Snake. We've got an assault rifle and katana. 2 messages. Okay, let's listen to his phone messages. Well, I would like to recommend the video by Ross's Game Dungeon, which I will link to, about this game. It's a really good video. And also, some of the extra content is available on YouTube, some of the making of and so on. I think it's also in the, maybe in the original version of the game. Maybe we'll load it up when we finish the actual game.
Hello, Elliot. This is Dr. White again. I still haven't received results from those morphing tests that I needed the other day. I know you're as excited about this breakthrough as I am, but don't expect to get any credit in the upcoming scientific journal. I'll need to see some practical work from you very soon. Give me a call.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you're excited. I hope you enjoy the video. It's yeah, Ross's Game Dungeon. I've not extensively explored the content, but
Hello, Elliot. This is Dr. Walczek.
they're good videos.
Calling to check up on our progress after the new neurotransmitter equalizer that I prescribed. I'm afraid that the stress you are under may be a bit much, even for this increased dosage. But still take only 2 a day, even if you are experiencing the anxiety attacks or rapid mood swings.
So the first message...
But I'm sure you'll be just fine.
The first message told us that he was doing morphing experiment, and the second was about tranquilizers he was prescribed. Although if he has machines that synthesize any old thing... okay, getting some lore here.
I had an interesting thought today while working on the contact-sensitive smart alloys project. It's given that all elements behave in a manner that is consistent with their atomic properties. For example, it is consistent for manganese to bond with barium cobalt in a very particular way under certain conditions. In a sense, these universal instruction sets are similar to the DNA which regulates the behavior of all cells in biological organisms. This being the case, it's conceivable that any non-organic matter can be programmed to respond at the molecular level to a set of predetermined instructions and instruction codes. So imagine a lamp which upon command...
Yeah, this guy invented...
a chair, a table, or even a work of art.
Morphing...
The possibilities are infinite. I'm confident that a proposal...
and then time travel.
...in this direction will be met with approval.
Perhaps this guy ends up being Zordon.
This month has been fraught with discoveries about the morphing process. We learned how to morph all of the elements, but only after we realized that a certain few of them are immutable. Specifically, the inert gases, like argon and krypton. Well, because of their unique electrochemical properties, they simply are immutable. Even worse, these elements actually interfere with the bonding of surrounding molecules and bring the whole process to a halt.
So the robot was morphing into a human.
Also discovered that if proper care is taken,
and we know that argon will disrupt, potentially disrupt the morphing of the robot, maybe.
This journal is, beyond a doubt, the most important of my career, as today marks my first success in the application of time distortion theory. By creating a localized neutrino acceleration matrix, I was able to bend time for just a fraction of a second.
Yeah, I don't know what container we use for the argon.
Into the distortion field, slipped back in time for just a moment, creating a visual effect similar to light refraction in water in a swimming pool. It may not seem like much, but it's truly more than any physicist could hope to achieve in a lifetime. And while it may be eons before there's any practical application of this theory, everything great was achieved one small step at a time, and this is definitely the first step.
It is now safe to shut down your year 2300 computer. What are we looking at?
Welcome to the Symposium on Alien Contact at the World Science Center in Sydney, Australia. The primary purpose of this conference is to allow the scientific community a forum to exchange ideas and opinions about joining the symbiotry of peaceful beings. The primary debate will take place in the main auditorium complex on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, with keynote speakers and world-renowned scientists Dr. Elliot Sinclair and Dr. Enrique Castillo. The debate will be followed by meetings in conference rooms where the many discussions revolving around this volatile issue will be held. Information on discussion groups will be available at the conference check-in at the entrance of the main auditorium. Accommodations are being provided at the New Sydney Metrocosmopolitan Hotel by the Shuttle Port in New Darling Harbour. Thank you. Have a wonderful conference.
What? But I can just grab the gun? Sure.
5. Do not disturb the current environment and possibly the current time stream without extreme cause. Also, as a TSA agent, you are forbidden to carry lethal weapons under Protocol 37.
I want the gun to shoot the bad robot. I also want the katana. There's a watermelon just asking to be sliced right there. Won't let me take the katana. Alright. Let's save here and then see what happens if we walk off with the gun.
Oh, Dr. Sinclair. Say, why are you bringing your antique elephant gun out of your office? You're not Elliot! Security! Security! Don't shoot the man with the glasses!
Alright. Let's stop here for today. I love this game. I'm gonna play through all 3 Journeyman Project games. Yeah, the sequels just continue the FMV goodness, and I just like the environment of these games as well. I like the pre-rendered, you know, like old pre-rendered CGI look, and the designs of the different time periods and technology designs and all of that. Yeah. So we'll be back on Friday with more futuristic racing, and probably gonna finish off the Wipeout games, because the remaining games are all remade and fully up to date in the Wipeout Omega collection. So, and then that'll give us a great reference point for all of the modern Wipeout style games that are on Steam and other places as well. So we'll probably do that. And also talk about other stuff I've been working on Friday, probably. In the meantime, let us see who is streaming. Let's see if any good retro action is happening. Well, Dino Please is streaming another point and click game, Beneath a Steel Sky, so that seems like an appropriate place to send you all. Where's my channel? There we go. Oh yeah, at the beginning of the VOD, I was mostly ranting about ray tracing. But feel free to check that out. And that there'll be more of that in the future as well. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. That's all for me today. If you, like me, have caught the Millennium Bug, make sure to watch the next stream or find me elsewhere on the World Wide Web, clicking on the links below the video. I've been Millennium Cyborg, keep that future vibe, and I'll see you in the world of tomorrow.